Hello everybody. How are you doing today?
Hello, everybody.
Oh, echo.
How are you doing today?
Hello everybody. Echo. Okay, now it should be all good. Hi everybody. We are back for round 11 of the European Championships, the final round, and Diana is playing a woman from Romania, Aureliana Eugenia Pancu. I think she's one of the older players in the field. I think she's about 60 or something, Diana said. Actually, let me just quickly update the board. We have had two moves, King H8 and Queen D2. Okay. All right, so this is the game position. Again, I think prep sort of fell flat today. I think no preparation to be had. What we expected our opponent to do was to play either one c4 or g3 or knight of 3. Basically all coming sort of to the same conclusion. So something like this. Knight of 3, knight of 6, and then something symmetrical. And then her opponent had previously in this tournament played d3, and then the thought was d5, and yeah, play this kind of a position. But her opponent went for d4 instead. e4. And Diana played into her normal preparation. She has played the King's Indian against d4 before, so that's what she kind of threatened to play here. Her opponent did not go into any mainline things with, knight c3 and e4, but rather something more slow and defensive with e3. And yeah. So we had a pretty calm game. Gave the break with e5, and I think this was supposed to be kind of good for her, if I remember my King's Indian theory correctly. I think this should be decent enough, at least. For black, black is already equalized, I would imagine. They have the nice bishop. They have White's bishop sort of a little bit obstructed, and we're threatening some things eventually. So White has to give some ground, play e4, and sort of cement their own bishop in, bury that bishop alive a little bit. This structure with this bishop is, of course, not the nicest thing White could ever dream of. And also, we have this bind, but there's no longer a d pawn that this bind could actually keep back. So usually this kind of bind would serve to stop this kind of a break, but there's no pawn here anyway, so we don't mind it as much. And if a knight ever wants to come in, we still have this. We could maybe bring our knight here, kick this bishop around a little bit, put more pressure on e4. And I think we have some constructive plans here. But Diana played knight to h5. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why she did that. Maybe she didn't want this pin, and we wanted to react to this with f6, but I'm not sure if that's really something you desperately want to do. Maybe she just wanted to bring her knight to f4. Not exactly sure about the exact plan behind that, but let's just see how it went. Yeah, bishop g5, kind of expected f6, and the bishop goes back, and then the knight does indeed go to f4. Bishop drops back. I was saying the bishop isn't great because it's sort of staring at a wall here, but at the same time you also don't really want to lose the bishop, because then your pawn structure is going to be a little short of defenders. And if you ever want to play, if you're ever going to play f3, then you really need to be careful about the diagonal and tricks tricks along, you know, the diagonal and towards the king side. So yeah, Diana played king h8. I think a reasonable move just to get out of any sorts of these things early. I think your king wants to be on h8 anyway, with this bishop on the diagonal, and someday you might even think of this kind of thing, because after all, this is still a King's Indian. We might want to look to push our kingside pawns eventually. And okay, queen d2 played by her opponent. Diana's spending a little bit of time here. She's been thinking for a couple minutes. Oh, actually, now she played knight to b6. Did knight to b6, okay. Interesting, because we are dropping a pawn here. I'm a bit confused why we're doing that. Hey, Waterford Wizard, by the way, hello, and Einsteiny. Hope you're doing well. Also Classic, welcome to the stream. This was a King's Indian. I'm just gonna show it again real quick. Didn't expect her opponent to go for d4. Expectation was c4 or knight f3. So prep was, you know, basically non-existent on move 1. So had to go back to her standard play, which, you know, she does play the King's Indian as a fallback thing. And now I don't understand her move here. I don't understand knight b6. I mean, we are attacking this pawn, but it seems to me like can't we just kick it away even? Or we can take first and then kick it. Give this c4, c5 move. So I mean, let's just see. Knight b6. What if we take, and this? I guess we go here and then we're attacking this pawn as well. So what if takes, need to keep defensive this pawn, but can we really? Because we're going to get in some trouble. I think this might be a problem. Your opponent immediately plays bishop takes f4, or not immediately, but like didn't think for very long. And I don't think this would be great for us, but let's see. Is there anything Diana can do intermediately? I mean, we have to take back, right? So not here. And after queen takes, I mean, I think we're kind of committed to taking the pawn. And after this, what if we go back like so? What happens then? This might be what you wanted. And then maybe bishop b3 and bishop d7. So something like this could be what she had in mind. As a King's Indian player, I'm concerned about the doubling of pawns on the f5. Well, we're not going to have double pawns for long because you're going to lose the pawn. So that's that's at least not something you need to worry about, I think. We're gonna have the pawn traded, and it's on the board. So her opponent played queen takes f4. And I mean, I assume Diana wants to take this pawn, like nothing else makes sense. That must be what she was hoping for. yeah, so she's gonna take, I assume, and then I mean this rook can also be used, I guess. Not sure which one is better. Not sure if it makes a big difference. Always kind of a big difficulty in these positions to determine which rook wants to be on the open file. Sometimes doesn't really matter that much, but sometimes it's really actually quite an essential decision, which rook you want to bring over. Okay, let's say rook a1 maybe. Queen moves, and if knight d5, do we have any good moves here? I guess we could maybe play here, but because knight doesn't have any good discoveries. Knight can't take here, we're gonna take with the queen. Knight can't go here, we're gonna take. Knight can't go here, we're gonna take with the queen. And here we're also gonna take with the queen. So the queen covers all the discoveries, which, I mean, it works tactically for the moment, but obviously this still looks a little bit scary. And let's say takes, and we would need to take with the pawn, otherwise we're just going to lose the pawn again. If knight takes, I think, I mean, this is just probably pretty dead. So we need to take with the pawn here. And then, yeah, I mean, this structure doesn't look too pleasant, I think. Let's say here, and maybe here. And I mean, okay, if white took, then we would be fine. But I imagine white would not do that. White would instead, I don't know. Not sure what they would play here. Maybe something like knight d2, knight c4, or something of the sort. But yeah, okay. I mean, this kind of position that could come on the board. For now, Diana's thinking. After queen takes f4, and I mean, she must have been thinking that she wants to take this pawn. Maybe she's reconsidering now because, you know, she does. She is in a bit of danger of getting in trouble after taking this pawn, but also I think she's in trouble if she doesn't take the pawn. So, yeah, I think we can be a little tiny bit worried about this position. But okay, I think knight takes should be the best still. I think we can maybe hang on to our pawns and get into maybe an endgame with a little bit over structure. But yeah, maybe white can also keep the queens on, like in a different line than we saw before. We can just look at it real quick, how else it could go. So after knight takes, if we play, last time we played rook a, let's use the f rook this time, see if it changes anything. I think again we can play queen e7, and here, takes, and I mean, okay, we're going to get into this sort of queenless game with all the pieces on the board, like all the pieces except the queens on the board, and a slightly worse structure. So we have this e-pawn that doesn't look too nice, and they have a nice knight on d5, but we're maybe going to get a nice knight on e5, and this bishop is staring at the pawn for the moment. Eventually we might want to make this knight move and try to push our pawn, and if we can trade off those weaknesses, then I think we should be fine. But yeah, we'd have to fight to equalize again, which I thought, if we go back for a moment, I thought here, before we went for this plan here, with knight h5, I think probably we should be about equal, maybe play knight c5 instead. Or, I don't know, can we even do something like this? Maybe that's a little bit too ambitious. Like, I don't know. Like here, 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 and then reroute our knight. Like, this is all, of course, dreamland, but if we have like a million moves in a row, we can do something like this, this, and then reroute our knight, so it can come to this square eventually. Here also, maybe another plan that's, I think, more usual than knight h5 in these positions would be maybe knight e8, and then bringing it over in some way. But okay. Hey Constantino, hello, how are you doing? I hope you're good. Yeah, Diana's thinking after move 15, queen takes f4. We're thinking, I mean, she has to capture the pawn pretty much, I think. What else could she do? I think otherwise we're just gonna be a little bit down a pawn. So a little bit down a pawn, that doesn't even make any sense, but okay. And we're just gonna be down a pawn if we don't take that. I mean, what else could we even play? If we play, like, I don't know, queen e7 or something, I don't know. I think none of this can be any good. I mean, knight is coming in anyway, or knight here, coming for this pawn, and generally to the c7 square. Not even if the pawn moves away, I mean, the knight coming in there would still be annoying. Because let's imagine knight here and here. Yeah, things can definitely happen here if we still happen for white, even if we don't take the pawn on c4. So I think we might as well take the pawn and then defend, rather than not take the pawn and still have to defend. Same for me. Well, I'm a little bit sick, I think. Diana is as well. We're both a little bit sick, but last day of the tournament, so we made it through, more or less. I mean, I'm not sure if you watched yesterday's game, Constantino, but another game where Diana played really well and then sort of let it slip after being completely winning. Is knight c4 not automatic? Yeah, well, I would think so. I would think that was the plan. We were thinking she's maybe afraid of this kind of thing. Where after this and this, you would maybe have to play this move, which looks a bit scary. But there's no good knight discovery. Also, queen is hanging for now. So if we get a queen trade, and we can't take with the knight because our pawn's still going to be hanging, so we're going to have to take here. But I think this might be a little bit worse, but not too tragic. If I had to make an assessment here of this position, I would imagine this is better for white, maybe even significantly better for white, but still, holdable. Yeah, I think this is definitely worse, but I think the current position, if we don't take the knight, if we don't take the pawn on c4, I think similar things are going to happen anyway, so I think we might as well take the pawn. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick. I wonder who's going to make the quickest draw of the day. Actually, there's one game I want to follow today as well, other than Diana's game. We can just quickly look at it already. That's the game on board 1. Maynarva against Alina Danielian. Mai is from Diana's age group, and she's doing really well in this tournament. She's playing really, really well. She's 22.76, so a very strong player, but she's actually in second or third place, I think, for the tournament right now. I think 2 people are on 8 points. She's on 7.5. So she can, if she wins today, she might win the tournament or tie for first. And I think she's already probably qualified for a World Cup spot, so very good result for her. And I just wanted to watch this game a little bit in the background, maybe. Oh, not very many moves played in this one. Not very many at all. So knight f3. Interesting how this happened. Usually knight f3 not the sharpest of openings. But after knight f3, knight f3, d6, d4, knight f6, Danielian already thought for 8 minutes, and then her opponent thought for 10 minutes on knight to e4. Bishop comes back to f4, knight e7, another 11 minutes spent. And then another almost 15 minutes on the next move. So very interesting that so much time was spent in the opening. It's like shades of Diana here. Shades of Diana for sure. And Mai is already down to 36 minutes on move 7. So she spent over 50 minutes, like almost an hour on 7 moves. Very interesting. Let's see what the position got her. Computer says plus 0.8 for white. So yeah, not what I would have expected to happen, for sure. Like, this is knight f3, not known to be the sharpest of openings, and it just went, I don't know, very deep, apparently. Interesting, certainly interesting. We're gonna keep an eye on it, but okay, for now there's been a couple of moves in Diana's game. The knight takes c4, rook a to d1, and bishop d7 was played. Okay. I mean, also a possibility for sure. Bishop d7 looks a bit awkward. Oh wait, what? I played rook to c1 instead. Sorry, that was not what happened in the game. So it was knight takes, then rook a to d1, not rook a to c1. Sorry. And then bishop d7. I mean, this looks, you know, looks awkward. It defends the pawn for now. Knight can't come in here for now, but that's a lot of for nows, so we need to be careful for sure. Okay, so now white has to find a move, I think. Okay, so first of all, I mean, this pawn is technically hanging, but I don't think black can ever take it because after bishop b3, this knight is going to lack escape squares. Well, actually, I mean, maybe you can play something like this and then jump it out, but I would be very, very hesitant to try to take this pawn because we don't really have this to defend because, well, actually, maybe we could, but the knight would come in and then takes and here, and that would not be pleasant. Actually, so no, we definitely don't have that because this, we can't allow the knight to come in here, so we would always need to take it, and then we would be like close to getting mated here, which wouldn't be pleasant. So we need to be careful. We need to be careful. We don't want to open this up and give our dark square bishop up too easily. And we don't want to get our knight trapped anywhere here. So let's say bishop b3 now. I guess we could go here and knight to b6. We could go knight to d6. We could, I guess, play knight to a5, but it looks kind of wrong. I mean, just putting the knight on the edge like that, and I guess the bishop has squares. Well, actually, it doesn't really, because here. So what about here? What do you think? Oh, what am I talking about? We can of course play this and then we're just losing a piece. Never mind. Because we don't actually have this defense. Never mind. Okay. Ignore me. ZWX, I can't play with you right now. We're just doing commentary of Diana's European Championship game. But another time, sure. Casual standard. Well, fine. Okay, I'll play you while I'm. Oh no, not like this. Oops. I'll play you in the meantime while commentating. But let's just see. Wait, where am I? Here. Rook 81 and bishop d7. Let's make this the main line. Oh, this is actually, no, this is right. And then bishop b3 was played. So Diana's, I imagine she's probably going to play knight d6. Just putting some pieces between the rook and the queen. But we need to be careful, like this might come in at some point and might be annoying. So, okay. What are we thinking here? What could white play? Well, actually, Diana hasn't played yet. Diana actually hasn't played yet. She is. Oh, welcome to the follow. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for the follow. Trodorki, actually. Hope you enjoy your time here. We're just commentating on Diana's round 11 game in the European Women's Chess Championships. She had a couple of tough games, and yesterday she was completely winning and did not manage to convert. Her opponent managed to find a draw. So a little bit painful, this tournament as a whole, but her opponent today is a Romanian woman, Aureliana Eugenia Pancu. She is 1862 rated. I think she's 60 years old or something like that, so a little bit older than most players in the tournament. Definitely one of the oldest. Was it winning or just looked that way? It was definitely winning. We looked at it with the computer after, and it was like plus 16 or something at some points. It was definitely winning. I mean, it wasn't easy to find the combination to actually put them away. So yeah, a bit unfortunate that Diana was kind of short on time at some points, where she would have maybe found a solution if she had a little bit more time. Today, move 17 right now. She has 41 minutes left. Yeah, so, I mean, again, a situation where you might conceivably get into time trouble, but I hope she can. I mean, actually, this position is kind of not easy to play. I think she probably should play knight d6 quickly here, because that just, yeah. Well, maybe she's scared and wants to play like knight b6 instead. I mean, this protects the bishop as well, so you can move the queen. Actually, you can't move the queen there because you still want to protect this pawn. So, I mean, yeah. I think knight d6 would be best. Cutting off this diagonal, keeping the knight centralized. You do have to worry about like rook e1 and, you know, a rook e1 and then some e5 at some moment. But, you know, we have to give up something here, or we have to accept that some danger will be in this position after we went for this trade of the e-pawn, basically. I mean, the e-pawn was captured on f4, but it was the e-pawn for the c-pawn. I don't think this was necessarily what we wanted, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so Diana still hasn't moved. We really would like her to move soonish. Let's see again the other game that we were interested in, or that I was interested in at least. Oh, we got kicked out of the feed. Minerva against Elina Danielian. Danielian is first place of the tournament with 8 out of 10 points. Minerva third place with 7.5 out of 7.5 out of 10. Very good score for the underdog. And here she spent a lot of time on the first couple of moves. She is down to 33 minutes and she has made 7 moves so far. So definitely in a bit of trouble time-wise. But I mean, okay, we'll have to see if she can pull it through. Diana also hasn't moved after bishop b3. At least she has already made 17 moves. As you guys know, time control is after 40 moves. So after move 40, you get an additional 30 minutes. And before that, you have 90 minutes with 30 seconds increment. And you keep the increment, so yeah. Keep the increment even after time control is reached, of course. Okay, good game, ZWX. Good game. Okay, so what do you guys think? Oh, hi Johnny O, by the way. I didn't see you there. Good morning to America. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to commentate this game to the end because I have some classes to teach, like last Friday as well. So if this turns into a long game, I might not be able to do commentary for the whole thing. Although, if it turns into a really long game, I might be back after. Chess classes, yes. For now, it's chess classes. When I'm home, I might do some tutoring again in normal classes, but for now, it's chess. Okay, knight b6 was played. Okay. I mean, as I said, I mean, this does at least protect the bishop as well, and maybe is a little bit safer against these rook e1 e5 ideas. But at the same time, conceptually, of course, we would like our knight in the center. It's nicer to have the knight on d6 than on b6, especially if you look at the bishop. If you look at the light square bishop, it's controlling all the squares the knight could go to. So this knight is very offside. Doesn't really have any good squares to go to, whereas on d6, if we had gone here, you know, it would at least control some key squares, and if this pawn goes, we can, you know, come to f5 at some point. This knight has sort of more of a scope on d6 for sure. But I guess she was just worried about concrete threats, which I didn't personally look into too closely. So maybe she saw something that she didn't like. Another reason why we might have wanted the knight on d6 instead is, of course, that this pawn here is under attack. We would like to move our queen out of the way, but we can't do it for now because the pawn has to be defended. Whereas if we put the knight on d6, that would block the diagonal and protect the pawn in that way. Hello, FWM. Nice name, like that. I find it easier to understand Diana's position with the board flip, just saying, oh, of course. Okay, sorry, my bad. I can, of course, flip the board for you if you prefer. We are, after all, black here. Welcome to the channel, by the way. I can, yeah, of course, I can flip the board for you. Yeah, black's position does not look terrific. I would tend to agree that this is not all that black wanted out of the opening, for sure. We're going to have very awkward time defending the c pawn. Very awkward time. My name is Patrick. I'm a friend of Diana's. I'm a friend of Diana's. We're here in Romania right now, live commentary from Romania, where the tournament is held. Yeah, so with the board turned around, it looks even more unpleasant almost. that a town in Romania? I'm not too familiar with Romania myself. Haven't heard of that particular place. Hello, Maiden 2 lol. How are you doing today? Hope you're well. Where is Diana? Well, she is just a couple hundred meters away playing her 11th round of the European Chess Championships, and this is her game we're watching. Or I don't know, but I don't think you're her. Indeed, I'm not her. I'm just a good friend of hers, and she will maybe be back on the stream later today, or otherwise she'll be back. Well, you know, when she's back home in Ireland. So don't feel dumb for asking. I mean, you're fine. She's black here. She is black. She's playing against Aureliana Eugenia Pancu from Romania. It's not in Bucharest, stupid chess cow. It's in Iași, actually. Iași is maybe like 6 hours, 7 hours north, maybe northeast of Bucharest, like closer to the border to Moldova. There might be a streamers battle. I don't think we have any streamer battles or sub battles or whatever planned just yet, but I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more in the future. Okay, so what does white play here? I mean, you could play something like bishop here to force this, but I actually don't want to force that, so we play knight here, but I don't think actually that would maybe do some good for black. Although actually you have to be careful because you can't play c6 because then you would lose a piece, wouldn't you? Actually, this might be a bit scary. I mean, this is attacked. This is attacked. Bishop e6 is coming. So you might have to give up a pawn here at some point. It's more and more pleasant. Okay, wait, there were some moves here. Knight b6, a4, a5 was played. So hold on, not knight d5. a4, a5, and then knight to b5. Okay. Interesting. Not the first line that would have popped to my mind, but certainly interesting. You still have similar problems. You're still going to be facing well, actually, can you play this now, or can you? What happens if you play c6? I guess then the knight comes into d6 and that would be unpleasant. Or even to c7. Either way, that doesn't, like, yeah, this doesn't look nice, for sure. Also now we don't have this. We don't have this because of knight f7 check. So if anything, we would have to play knight here, but actually that doesn't work either because we're going to like lose some stuff in this way, I imagine, because of this this little tactic. Why can't we see Diana? Or are you Diana? I am not Diana. I am commentating on her game. My name is Patrick. I'm a friend of hers, and yeah, we are just commentating on her round 11 game of the European Women's Chess Championships, where she's playing against Aureliana Eugenia Pancu from Romania today. This is the last round of the tournament, so yeah, we are on the home stretch of the tournament. It's been a bit of a frustrating tournament for Diana. I think she's she had some really good chances to get some really good wins. Didn't quite manage to convert them. Yesterday she had another really good chance. She was completely winning and then just didn't quite find the knockout blow. And she had a couple of those games, like at least 3, where she had completely winning advantages and just didn't quite find the crushing blow to end it all. So it's been a bit of a frustrating tournament for her, but okay, that's just the kind of stuff that happens in chess. And now today we just hope that she can end it on a win, end it on a high note. I'm not her coach. No, I'm not her coach. We've just been working together a little bit, and I'm her friend. So okay, so she played rook to c8 after knight b5. I mean, that does defend it for now. First thing you notice, of course, is knight a7, but then I guess you can just go back and forth maybe. So that wouldn't be too scary. I mean, maybe this would be a repetition. Would be funny if that happened. Diana, of course, wants a win here, but you know, if that's the way the tournament ends, it would be, yeah. I think in this position she would be happy to see that anyway, because this doesn't look pleasant to play at all. What else can white do? Standard moves, of course, rook e1, rook after e1 would be something to think about. Maybe bring this knight in somehow. You could still, well, actually, you shouldn't probably do this. I imagine. But rook e1 seems like the most sensible move. But then we can finally, oh no, we still can't untangle quite fully because we don't. Do we? Let's see. Can white capture this pawn is the question, or do we have anything here? I think we can at least take here, and that might be okay for us, because we're covering some of the essential squares here. So that would be okay, I would imagine, for black, at least better than it looks now. Yeah, Constantino, definitely. I think if she were to offer us knight a7, rook a8, knight b5, rook c8, knight a7, I think that would be a welcome thing. Definitely be welcome. Just like our opponent yesterday, she didn't. After Diana was completely winning, she maybe had a chance to strike back there, and even after reaching time control, she didn't want to try to think of a way to win that position yesterday. So maybe everybody's a little bit tired of chess, I could imagine, especially when your tournament has been like not going maybe as well as you'd hoped. This is of course a really tough tournament, so all the players that are, let's say, 2000, just around 2000 or even under 2100, let's say, are expected to have definitely less than a 50% score. I think the average rating of the tournament was something like over 2200. So a very, very strong field here at the European Women's Chess Championships. Yeah, 2196. Okay, so yeah, so 2200 basically average rating. So definitely a very tough tournament, and for players that are maybe not quite 2200, that's going to mean that they're not going to win a ton of games, probably. Which is all the more unfortunate because Diana really had... What the hell is that? I mean, I'm just going to quickly show you the scariest animal I've ever seen in my life. If you can see it. Wait, you can't see it? Can you? That's a really scary thing. Not sure exactly what that was. It looked like some type of a wasp or something. Bit frightening. Okay, sorry, I was just distracted by that there for a second. Anyway, after rook c8, Diana's opponent... Dragonfly? No. That was not Dragonfly. Which country am I flying ant? I don't think it more looked like some sort of mix between... It looked like sort of a mix between a flying ant and a wasp. Definitely a bit scary. But okay. Which country am I from? I am from Germany. I'm from Germany. Okay, after rook c8, Diana's opponent is thinking. She's down to 54 minutes now, so Diana 33 minutes, her opponent 54 minutes. Time's getting a little bit closer. And okay, yesterday there was, I think, even a little bit more time trouble than today. And we can just hope that that's not going to ruin anything today for Diana, like it did yesterday. Am I from Munich? No, I'm not from Munich. You can keep guessing if you want. Okay, Diana's opponent's average rating was 2039. Does this include this one, or... Because actually, I think Diana was playing really well against the higher rated opponents she had, and then she lost to Narva Mai, who's 2100. After she was completely dominating, she got into an endgame where she was up a bishop and managed to somehow fell apart a little bit. She lost that game, and after that she had two opponents who were lower rated than her, but she didn't get into these games at all. And yeah, actually maybe it was one opponent that was lower rated than her and one just a little bit higher than her. But anyway, that was a really painful game because after that she basically lost two games in easy ways that were basically out of the opening, basically because she was still more thinking about the other game that went wrong than about the games that were in front of her. And she had two tough games that were very unnecessary losses. So I think that dragged down her performance a little bit. But yeah, before that she was playing very, very well against very high rated opponents, and she had a couple really good chances to score, even like to score her biggest win or things like that. In the first round, for example, she was playing a WGM from Azerbaijan, and had a very good position. But okay, and a drawn endgame as well. But okay, all water under the bridge. Next tournament's gonna be happier. We're gonna maybe do some commentary again on the next one, unless, well, maybe someone else, if I'm playing the event as well, maybe someone else can do commentary. Why did you ask if I'm from Munich, Chesscow? How did you come to that guess? How did you arrive at that guess? 1 week on Lichess and it feels like every German, Russian, and Indian is good at chess. I don't know about that. Maybe it's so. So did you just start playing if you say 1 week on Lichess, or did you just take up chess, or how did it go with you? Have you been a chess regular? Have you been on this channel before? I'm not sure. Diana's good at names, I'm not so good at names. Okay, so rook to d2, rook to d2. Interesting. That looks a bit slow to my eyes. Rook d2. I think we're just gonna play queen e7 and takes. I guess we're gonna take on a4. Are we gonna take with the bishop or with the knight? I guess with the bishop, because then we're also opening this. And actually, I mean, then you have to find some good moves here as white, and I think this should be fine. This should be just fine. I mean, maybe slightly better for white, but nowhere near the amount of pressure we saw earlier. Because I look like I'm from Munich. Okay, well, I'm not from Munich. How does a person from Munich look like? Maybe because I'm wearing red, or from Bayern Munich. Maybe that's why you have the association. But okay, I think Diana might have escaped something there. But maybe I'm just too optimistic. Maybe white is something else than taking after queen e7. What if we play this now? Can we still make a repetition? No, we can't, because takes, and we can take here, and that wouldn't be good, I don't think. Because now we're gonna have to move the rook, and gonna be dropping the pawn, maybe. Actually, okay, I mean, we could do this, I guess, but then maybe queen here. No, because queen here, and then we have this, don't we? Or actually, maybe b4. So this would actually be cute. I think we can, at b5, I mean, we can do this. And then open up the defense of the bishop. No first time on channel. But I didn't really know the names of openings, etc. till a week ago. Just played with friends for fun, never tried to get better. Now I'm free for a few months though, so actively trying to get better. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, we hope to see more of you here. This is maybe not the channel, like the classic chess education channel, but I think, yeah. But also Diana does coaching. Diana does coaching, so if you were interested in that, there's always that option as well. I think something like that could help with your chess improvement, but I think generally just being around chess, playing, watching, just thinking about chess will help you improve if you do it in a constructive way, more than just consuming content, you know, as a distraction. A queen to e7 was played. We'd like to see that. And now let's see if white plays knight to a7, or if they take. I don't necessarily see any other moves that make sense to me, because if we don't do anything, black's going to just maybe take that knight on the next move, and then, you know, oh yeah, no handlebars, you can just message her privately. You can message her via email or Lichess or Twitch. I think anything works. Well, coach as Waterford Wizard, I think it's better to do it privately if you had the choice. But if you're interested in coaching, just message her. Okay, about FWM. You can always see the live position on the small board, down in the corner, and I think this is the live position that we see on the board now as well. So this actually is the live position that we have on the big board, on the analysis board as well now. Chess.com stream died, so I came here. They were showing PogChamps ads, so I decided to come here for the chess. Well, welcome if you want the proper chess. This is the European Women's Chess Championships. So a serious tournament that's going on here. Nothing, I mean, I'm not gonna share my opinions about chess politics. But yeah, here is some real OTB chess happening. Always nice to see that it's coming back. I'm going to share with you, I haven't gotten the chance to play over the board yet, so I'm just very much looking forward to my over the board debut. So I was always happy. I was happy to be able to observe Diana here, and that was definitely a fun experience. Although also tough. I mean, if you can relate, if you've ever played online chess and you know how bad it can feel to lose a game, especially one, let's say, where you think you should have won, and then you think of how bad it feels or how bad it would feel to lose that over the board in person to someone you maybe like, that is, at least it's more competitive, and it's also something you invested hours and hours in. So you play a game for several hours, you get into a great position, and then you end up somehow losing the game. That kind of frustration, I think, is a very hard part of a chess tournament. Yeah, I think it's definitely a big mental battle, a long chess tournament like this, especially the long ones. Like this one is 11 rounds, there was one rest day, so definitely a marathon, and it gets very tough on your mentality if not everything goes according to plan all the time. Which, I mean, it rarely will, yeah, right? So, yeah. Okay, so no moves made so far. Actually, knight a7 was played. Never mind, just as I say it, knight a7 is played. Move 21. Okay, so I guess we were thinking rook a8, queen takes, and you probably want to move your... Well, actually, what do you do here? I'm not so sure. Okay, I guess the knight protects the bishop for now, so we could maybe do something like this. Or, well, actually, we can't go here. We could go here, maybe. So let's say... no, but actually, let me just quickly work out the tactics, maybe. Oh no, this can of course be taken. What am I talking about? Okay, so queen here, maybe. And they can't take just yet, because after here, 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 you would lose your knight in the end, so that wouldn't work out. Or white. But what do you play? What do you play as black here? I mean, I was just assuming rook a8, but I guess it's not necessarily forced. You can also play rook d8, maybe. And then after queen takes, queen b4, forcing the bishop to move, and then you can try to say you're going to win this still, but actually you can still can't move your rook because it's still pinned, like this. So this is still a little bit tough for black for sure. Queen b4, trap the knight. What do you mean? I mean, you're gonna have to make some sort of rook move first. I guess rook a8 is most natural. And then takes here. And if the knight goes back, we can, we can take this and then here, or we can take the bishop first. This is not easy, so easy to figure out, so forgive me if I make any tactical errors here. A lot is going on in this position. Everything is attacking everything, so you might at some point find a tempo to play this and then, but okay, for now the knight's hanging, so let's just try to take here and take here and then maybe go here. Protect our pawn, move our bishop to safety. What do we think about this? So we can count pawns, we're down a pawn. 5 to 6. But we have the bishop pair. Queen's a little bit awkwardly placed for now. This pawn is hanging for now. So they can't just double rooks just yet. Yeah, I mean, of course, after rook a8, queen takes e7, but I think that might just be the best variation anyway, because of the tempo we get, because eventually white's going to have to react. So after rook a8, queen takes, we were thinking queen b4, but let's think of other moves we could play. So we can't just attack the queen, because the queen can always just take the knight and protect this knight in the process. We can't do this because our queen would hang, as well as our knight. So we need to do something that, you know, deals with this and this at the same time. So the only square that where the queen defends the knight would be b4. Actually, okay, it also defends the knight from d8, so this would be something to look at as well. So what happens if queen to d8? Now we're going back into the pin, but the queen would have to react. So there's no time to double rooks because we could just take the queen. Also, the knight is still under attack. So maybe here, takes, and then here we actually get pretty much the same position. Where we have the bishop pair, the knight, well, I mean, the queens are off, but let's say the knight is still in a bit of an awkward position. Wait, what am I talking about? It can just take the rook. So we would have to move the rook first, so rook d8 maybe. No, that wouldn't work either, because double maybe. Let's see. Yeah, maybe here, because our bishop's still defended. And then the knight moves. Then we can maybe take it, and we're down a pawn, but it's a double pawn for white. And we could maybe activate, hit this pawn. It has to be defended by
some sort of awkward way. This could be counterattack maybe. Well, I mean, this position doesn't look hopeless for sure. That's all I'm going to take away from it now. This might not be entirely correct, what I'm saying here. Like, there might be better moves for either side. If you guys want a more definite answer to what this position holds, you can of course always go to Lichess and look at Stockfish. I'm just trying to sort of take it from the position of the players and see how they see the position without an engine. Yeah. Okay, actually, I quickly want to, while Diana's thinking, I quickly want to jump back to the game between Minerva and Alina Danielian, where Mai is down to seven minutes after 12 moves, which is a little bit tragic. That's a little bit tragic. I mean, what do we think of this position? I don't quite understand how they got into this much time trouble. I mean, 53 minutes to 7 minutes, that's a little bit painful. After 12 moves, there have been games in this tournament, many games where both players were still had more time than they started with on move 12. Whereas here, Narva has spent, if you take increment into account, she has spent well, I mean, she's almost spent her entire 90 minutes, so she's basically, like, she got 6 minutes of increment, and she started with 90 minutes. So if she didn't have the increment, she would be down to 2 minutes. So she's going to have to play a rapid game, basically. 10 minutes, 30-second increment. I guess that's a little bit slow for rapid, but the position seems okay. I mean, I just turned on the engine real quick. Position seems okay. We're just looking at this game because she's in second place in the tournament, or actually I guess third, on 7.5 behind two players on 8 points, one of them being Danielian, who has white here. And if she wins, she might win the tournament as a very big rating underdog. Very big rating underdog, which would be cool. And I think she's already pretty much guaranteed to qualify for the Women's World Cup by coming top 10 in this event. I think there's very few situations in which she wouldn't come in top 10, and also I think the amount of seeds to the World Cup might be extended. So she's very likely qualified herself to the next World Cup, which would be great. It's great news for her. Always nice to see underdogs doing well. And okay, let's go back to Diana's position. See a couple of moves here. Knight a7. Knight takes a4. Wow. Okay, what? Hold on. So this didn't happen. Knight a7. And Diana played knight takes a4. Instead of rook a8, knight takes a4. Knight takes c8. Rook takes c8. Bishop takes c4. And bishop takes a4, bishop takes a4. So, okay, she's down an exchange for a pawn. She does have the bishop pair, but she's also, I don't know, I'm not sure about this. I mean, interesting practical try for sure. Interesting practical try. It's her opponent's turn right now. He has 47 minutes to figure it out. Interesting. Interesting decision there by Diana for sure. So I guess she's saying, okay, the two bishops can play decently against the two rooks. And we have these 3 pawns, this queenside majority, which we're probably going to try to use to make a passed pawn, and try to push those pawns down the board quickly. Going to be difficult because let's say this bishop is not all you want it to be just yet. I think you might have higher hopes for a bishop than it being on g7 with a pawn on f6. Agreed, nice to see underdogs pulling themselves up from the rubble that are the ruthless other chess players. Yeah, exactly. It is a tough world out there. Tough world. Okay, so what do we think about this exchange sacrifice that Diana offered here? Not moving her rook, giving the rook, taking an extra pawn. Well, I guess one thing we have to look at is this move to try and win back the pawn. I guess we have bishop c6, and if we take, we can take here. Or if they take, we can take here. Or actually, I guess we take with the bishop. So takes. Well, do we take with the bishop? Because actually, if we take with the bishop, then this opens up some chances for the rooks to come in. So maybe queen takes is all right. Let's say this comes on the board. That at least allows us to open this diagonal for the bishop. And I mean, I wouldn't be too upset about this. I think there's definitely chances. I mean, I imagine that white must be better, but maybe not so much better. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Yes, exactly. So this is where we strive. This is where we strive. Diana doesn't like her rooks anyway. She loves sacrificing her rooks. Maybe not in this exact way, but you know, could be worse. I mean, if this comes on the board, I'm not sure I hate this so much. I think this is doable to make something happen here. I mean, the two bishops can be engineered to do nice things against the two rooks. You have to be very careful. I think if I give this to like some GM, I think they're going to make the bishop magic happen. So let's see if Diana can make the bishop magic happen. Although this is of course not guaranteed to come on the board. So she doesn't have to play this. She could also just, instead of rook a1, she could play rook e1 to defend the pawn. There's no f5 because the rook's protected, so no pin. And also I guess even pushing would be possible, but certainly no pin. Oh, e5 her opponent played right away. Interesting. e5, didn't look at that too much. Yeah, I guess that makes some sense, trying to trade off that pawn and then going after the weakness in black's position. Also discovering the attack on the bishop, so we have to move this one anyway. I guess we can move it to e5 with tempo on the rook, but the rook comes to e1 where it wants to go anyway. So we can probably choose our square pretty freely. We don't need to help the rook get to e1. If bishop b5 is not actually the best square for us. And what do we think? So we could think of something like this. So bishop c6, rook e1, and then let's say we take. Actually, this doesn't really work because the b7 pawn hangs. So that wouldn't be good. So maybe we don't want to give up our bishop like that, because we don't actually win a pawn for it. No pawn for us, no joy. So what do we do then against e5? What do we do after e5? Any suggestions from the chat are welcome. My brain is already starting to fry again because our AC is broken and it is way too hot here. Too hot for my taste. Look, I have to drink from this monster of a thing. Yeah, so e5 looks like a good move to me, unfortunately. Diana's down to 19 minutes. Slight time trouble. Your brain is fried too. Well, yeah. This is not a pleasant position, I don't think. I'm not sure, like, I think if we go back to this exchange sacrifice here, just dropping the rook instead of playing, oops, not this, instead of playing rook a8. And I think what we're looking at here was maybe better. So queen b4, we were thinking, or queen d8, because both defend the knight if we get to trade off the queens. Well, I guess you don't have to take. You can actually maybe take it. Yeah, okay, so maybe this isn't so good. So maybe we prefer this. And if this came on the board, I think we would have had a decent shot at the game, with the bishop coming in, and I think this doesn't look so bad at all. This doesn't look so bad at all. I think both sides have chances here. Black is down a pawn, but, well, for the moment, black's down a pawn for the moment. We're attacking this. Rook e1 might have to be played, or something of the sort. Can't play knight here because the queen would hang, obviously, so yeah, definitely opportunities in this position. But maybe I'm missing something, and there was actually no way to reach this. Can't really say for sure at all. Okay, so we had a couple moves. Let's just go to the main position after e5. The e5, bishop b5, e takes f6, bishop takes f6. Could have thought about queen takes here. I don't think you like the queens here on the board as white, as black actually. I think you would like the queens off. You're down in exchange, but I don't think that that's necessarily so bad. But if the queens are on the board, I think white's queen combined with the rooks is going to be able to do more damage than black's queen. But okay, bishop takes, queen g7. No, wait, no, that's not. Rook e1, queen g7. Okay. But like now I'm scared about getting mated even, like, you know, knight comes in, rooks come in somehow. But okay, at least we're attacking a pawn, so there's that. We have control over the diagonal. We have this bishop here, which we could maybe use to, you know, get some attacks of our own going. Some day. We also have like threats of this. If the rooks remain lined up. The only thing I don't really like here is our rook on c8. That looks a bit pathetic. That looks a bit pathetic. White's king is safer too. Yeah, White's king is reasonably safe. Although our king isn't like in desperate trouble yet. Okay, after queen g7, what do we play here? Maybe like... Well, I wonder if she thinks she has to defend this pawn. What if she plays something like this? I think we can play this and then we might be okay. I don't think this would necessarily help. I mean, it gives our bishops scope to do this kind of thing. Well, actually, what if we just do it now? Is there a tempo? I think this would... Okay, well, she's not going to do that. She's not going to move her pawn like that. If that just drops the exchange back. I don't think that's going to happen. So maybe improving her knight somehow. Can go here because we don't have any kinds of tricks just yet. And here doesn't work either because takes, the queen protects. Also interferes with the diagonal, so it does protect the pawn. Hey, Halvard. It is a bit of a rough position, I agree. We're down in exchange, up a pawn though, so we were just looking at the position where we gave up the exchange. After knight a7, Diana did not want to give the c pawn with something like this, where we were thinking this might have been okay-ish. But okay, this is very complicated and I might have missed something there. And I'm just like, I was moving pieces all over the place, and this is sort of what ended up, but there might have been something better for white. I suck at English, stop spamming long words. Sesquipedalianism. Very nice word. Very nice word you have there. Okay, I want to go back to this game here. Narva my Narva against Daniela, Elina Danielian rather. Okay, so I mean she's sitting at her 7 minutes, but her opponent is now starting to get a little bit lower in time as well. 35 minutes. They have to make 28 more moves to time control, so definitely, I mean, you know, tons to go in this game until they get any sort of time back on their clock. Interesting that they spent that much time in the opening. Very interesting. And it looks like, if I turn on the computer for a second, computer says equal or slightly better for white. So after all that effort, just basically a normal position. I'm not sure about the norms. Not sure about the norms, Halvard. I haven't checked, and actually I don't know exactly how it works. But yeah, she definitely has been having a great tournament. Definitely has been having a great tournament. Should definitely get a World Cup seed, we were thinking. Yeah, she might already have it after 9 rounds, that's true. I guess 8 or 9, you can. I guess you can have it at different stages. So okay, Diana's opponent's thinking after what's happening. Oops, what actually happened in the game. Which was this. Well, not this. Which was this. And she's thinking here. So, I mean, what's she thinking about? We will have to see. I guess moves that make sense are here. And I don't know, maybe here. Does that work as well? I guess so. And also maybe just, I'm not sure if you want to give up this rook and just try to like double or something. Actually, it doesn't really make sense to double here because the bishop's defending d8. So maybe that's actually not nonsense. Like, that's actually a bit of nonsense. You can have it on 7 also, but need to be at least 27 in total. I don't know what that means. Like, for all 3 norms, you have to have a certain amount of rounds, or what? What do you mean? I don't know how it works exactly. 27 games. Ah, okay, I see. So I guess you need 3 norms over at least 27 games. That makes some sense. Yeah, 7, 11, and 9. Yeah, okay. So 9 is the default, and then you can have more or less. That makes sense. Well, okay, I mean, I'm not sure if I can cover this game until the end. I will have to do a lesson in, or leave for a lesson in about 50 minutes. You once ruined an IM title. Ah, nice. Always nice to ruin things for people. Oh, and there goes the camera. There goes the camera. Excuse me, let me just quickly fix that. It would. Okay. There we go, should be back. Hello, Mystic Slayer 16, DD 16. How's it going? Made a draw against 2400 FM first round. He needed half a point more in that tournament to get the title. That's very unfortunate for him, or them. Oh yeah, you said, okay, for him. Rook e to d1. Rook e to d1. Okay. I just said that doesn't really make much sense to me. Rook e to d1. So I hope I was right about that. That it doesn't really make that much sense to play rook e to d1. Because, I mean, you're not really, like, all the squares are kind of covered for now. All the squares that you might want to go to on the d file. What I guess it does prevent maybe, well, it definitely prevents bishop takes e2, because bishop takes, then you have rook d 8 check, and you're going to be losing your queen. So, well, yeah, I mean, it does indirectly defend. It does indirectly defend your pawn on b2. So, okay, what could we think of to do here. Still hard to find a move for... Well, actually, okay, rook f8 was played. Diana didn't really... Oops, no, not rook to g8, sorry. Rook to f8. Rook to f8 played pretty much instantly. I like this. Put some pressure on her clock as well. Would be really nice if Diana could make something happen here, because, yeah. Just to have a good end to the tournament. I think even securing a draw here would be at least something. Okay, we do have some threats here. I mean, we can have discovery threats. We have, like, you know, after we take this pawn, we are threatening this as well at some stage, maybe. We have ideas of this and moving the bishop, and then sort of, you know, opening up the king. Knight d4 after rook f8 looks scary. Knight d4. Okay, I mean, we were discussing knight d4 earlier. We were discussing that earlier, and we were thinking that you could have played that last move as well, like before rook d1. I think she can still play knight d4 here, which would maybe be a bit of a better version, because now you would need to bring in an extra attacker to force it to move. But okay, maybe knight d4 is still good. Let's see what black could do here. Guess we need to move our bishop somewhere. Well, I mean, that would maybe be the nicest square. We could also... I guess we can't, because of knight here. That would be a bit awkward. Knight e6, right? So we have to move, and then I think they would gladly trade this. So this would probably be death for us. So can't play bishop a4 after knight d4. So we don't have too many squares. So this we can't. Here we can't go. Here we can't go. Here we can't go. Here we can't go. Here we can't really go, because that would just, you know, lead to trades and not unpleasant things. If we go here, we're going to drop a pawn. So probably also not good. And here looks a bit ridiculous. So maybe here. Also prevents knight e6. Yeah, exactly. I think we get here by two ways. We get arrived on this move by the process of elimination in two ways. We say we can't play anything that doesn't defend e6, and we can't put our bishop on any other square, so luckily those two things overlap. So knight d4 was played in the game, and I think Diana should be able to figure out that bishop c4 is maybe the only chance we have here. Well, okay. We could think of, I guess we could think of taking it, but that isn't maybe so good either. And we're just down a clean exchange, because here, and then the queen takes, and we'd have to trade queens. And this doesn't look like, you know, it looks like no joy. Although, I mean, if we could get our bishop here and this kind of pawn chain, we might be able to hold. But I'm not sure we can achieve that. But if we could, it's always nice to have goal positions in mind. It's always a good habit. Saying that, okay, we would maybe have chances if we could achieve that. Although I don't think we could in this particular position. White wouldn't be eager to trade because of 3 at 1 minority on the queen side. Well, I think white would be very eager to trade because white's just up in exchange. And I don't think the bishop can really help to get these pawns going. It's on a bit of an awkward square. As I said before, like if the bishop was here and the pawn was here, it would maybe be a bit of a different story. But as it is, the bishop's like a little bit in the way and isn't actually doing many constructive things. Yeah. But the point is that the bishop also can never attack this pawn. So like it's enough that one rook stays here and then the other rook can do whatever it wants aggressively, and then also the king can come in. And especially if, let's say, there would be a trade of another pair of rooks, that would probably be painful. Bishop e5 she played. Okay, did we miss something? Sorry. Knight d4. Bishop e5 first. Okay. Does that help? I think it just delays the same problem, doesn't it? I think it can actually change much. Where does the queen go? Queen g5, queen g4, queen e4, queen g5. Well, queen g5 makes some sense, attacking the bishop and, you know, attacking this bishop behind it. It's also on a dark square, so it couldn't be attacked by any sort of bishop move. Whereas like bishop here, okay, that would probably not be good. For now, we don't have any threats really. Also, if we play queen g5, there's no queen h6 that would, you know, threaten this kind of thing and maybe provoke some weaknesses. You think so? I mean, okay, well, I mean, trading pieces would favor black, you think? I think in some situations that might be true, but if your bishop is not in the right position, your pawns are not on the right squares yet, and also white's rooks are already coordinated, I'm not sure that that's entirely true. But okay, I mean, I don't know this for sure, of course. Astute sense of understanding of chess positions. Well, that would be good. I mean, I would love if Diana had something here, and if trading pieces was that way out of this pickle, that would be great. Okay, so our opponent is thinking after bishop e5. 28 moves, so we have 12 moves to go. The time control. Opponent's down to 29 minutes. Diana has 14 minutes. Okay, let's check back over to our little pet game here. 15 moves have been made. 5 minutes for Mai. 25 minutes for Danielian. Let's turn on the computer. Computer says black's slightly better now. So, you know, I like this. I like where this is going. I don't usually look at positions with an engine while commentating, but like I don't want to spend any energy on analyzing positions that we're not actually watching too closely. I'm just curious in the result of this one. If you guys want, we can also look at some other streamer games or something. You can look at Laura's game, for example. Laura playing Anna Sargsyan. from Armenia, I assume, judging by the name. Okay, so black has this interesting constellation here with this bishop on c2. Don't see that every day, and the pawn on b3. Looks a bit awkward, looks a bit clamped for white for sure. I'm not sure exactly how this came about. Let's just see. g4, d5. So very standard semi-Slav Miran variation. And a4, interesting. I think, yeah, rare move by Laura here. I guess that means that she wants to make something happen if she plays unusual moves in this position that she surely knows very well. I think she surely knows that a4 is maybe not the most common move here. And that it might not be as objectively good. So it seems like she's trying for a win here. Maybe she feels like she needs a win to get into the top, let's say 10 or 15, that might get a World Cup seed. Maybe that's what she's playing for. And yeah, here queen get traded, and eventually the bishop gets in. Interesting. I mean, I guess bishop e2 might have not been the most accurate thing. Maybe you play something else here. I don't know what exactly, but that seems like it allows a lot. Although I guess you would have to move this knight, so maybe knight here or knight here or knight here or something. Because you don't want to allow this, obviously. That would be bad. Yeah, maybe it's also just not as big of a problem as I thought. Because actually she managed to capture the pawn while the bishop was pinned. So, you know. But anyway, okay, let's go back to Diana's game. We're looking at this position here. Definitely looks interesting. Diana's down in exchange, but as the bishop pair has some play on the diagonal. Not this diagonal. This diagonal. Hello, Mahmoud. How are you doing today? I'm good. I'm good. I'm a little bit hot in this room because our AC went bust. Our AC died, and we are not. Yeah, it's a bit warm outside. It's like 32 degrees or something. Where is Diana? Well, Diana is playing in the European Women's Chess Championships, and we are commentating on her game right here. She is just a couple 100 meters in this direction. You want to know very precisely where she is. It's too hot here as well. Where are you, Mahmoud? Where are you from? Oh, Egypt, okay. Yeah, I can imagine that it must be hot there as well. Might even be hotter than here, I guess. Okay, after bishop e5, her opponent is still thinking. I think she has quite a few moves here that make some little amount of sense. I think queen g5 makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's just look at all the moves she could make. I mean, okay, queen can't go here. Can't go here. It can't go to any of these squares either. It can't go here either. That means that it could go either to g5 to h4 to e4 or to e3. What is my name? My name is Patrick. I'm a friend of Diana's, and yeah, we're here in Yash at the European Women's Chess Championships, and I'm just doing some commentary for her channel while she's playing. Actually, now that I think about it, she can't go here either, because obviously you're here and you don't have any checks, so that wouldn't be good. That would actually just drop an exchange. Nice to know you as well, Mahmoud. I've seen you in the chat before. So okay, this leaves this, and this, and this. But actually, what am I talking about? So, Queen G5. Don't you also have this? Queen G5. Bishop F4. Oh, what am I talking about? Of course you have bishop takes. I talked about this earlier and I forgot my own analysis. Of course you can't do that. So we'd have to, I guess you would like to have this with tempo, but I think maybe b3 comes in just in time, so that doesn't actually work. But maybe you can play the move we wanted to play earlier here, bishop c4 to prevent knight to e6. Because this is always still a threat, of course, knight e6, attacking the queen, attacking the rook. So we would need to be careful always of these kinds of tricks. But yeah, I mean, Diana certainly made it very complicated, or maybe her opponent made it a little bit complicated on herself. But I think Diana did a nice job after giving up the exchange to keep the game alive, keep the game interesting. Okay, Queen G4 was played. Okay, so let's put that on the board. Let's just go back and Queen G4. Okay, I mean, the first thing we see is like we could immediately gain another tempo against the queen with bishop d7. And this also, again, defends e6. We have to trade a bishop for the knight. Which bishop would be better to trade with? Well, I don't think we would necessarily love to trade any of our bishops, but if I had to decide which one of our two bishops I had to trade, I would go with the light square bishop, because yeah, our dark square bishop is important for this diagonal. Our king is very open if we give up that. Although, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say that. It depends on the specific situation. But now, for now, also we have this constellation on the king side where, let's say, we trade off queens and we trade off like a pair of rooks, and we trade off this bishop for this knight, and then we get this sort of pawn structure. We have this 3-on-1 on the queen side with this bishop protecting the base pawn, and then we have this 2-on-3 rook versus bishop on the king side. We might be able to hold that somehow. Might be able to set up some sort of fortress. Whereas with the light square bishop, for now, we would have some issues coordinating. We would have to, like, you know, bring our pawns like here and then put the bishop here, and that might take some extra effort we don't have time for. But yeah, this is definitely a good question. I mean, we want to think about these kinds of things in positions like this. Like, goal positions are always valuable to think about. But okay, we are approaching 5 p.m. Romanian time, which means I will have to go in about 20 minutes to teach a lesson. I can leave the game open for you guys. Maybe I'll put it on the big screen, and I can play some music in the background while I'm away teaching, if you guys would want that. Otherwise, I could also shut down the stream. But if there's interest, I'll just leave it on and then see if anybody is still there when I'm done with the lesson. And yeah, if you want to see more of Diana, I think she might come in after the game today, especially if she doesn't lose here. The time control is 90 plus 30 and 40, 30 extra minutes after move 40. So 90 minutes and 30 seconds increment for the first 40 moves, and 30 more minutes after move 40. And Diana's down to 10 minutes. Her opponent has 21 minutes. She's thinking here after Queen G4. I think Bishop D7 might be a good move. Just asking some more questions, getting closer to the time control. At least I don't see that it spoils anything. We need to defend against knight to e6 anyway. So like Bishop C4 or Bishop D7 are the moves that we want to think about. Also, I guess we could think of capturing, but as I said before, I don't think we really want to give up our bishop pair at this stage. But what I was saying is we don't necessarily want to go to c4 now anymore, because now the queen is lined up on the 4th rank. So just instinctually, I think it would feel better to put it on d7, and then also gain a tempo. And sometimes we can maybe, like, you know, bring the bishop here, and if the knight trades, we, you know, trade and put pressure on this bishop, like in the future, of course, not that we wouldn't get mated or lose the queen at the moment if we did something like this. But in the future, that might be an idea. Okay, let's just quickly check over. Laura has no time on her clock whatsoever. 34 moves. Computer says equal. So she might be doing okay. Oh, Bishop D7 played by Diana, by the way. I like to see that. I think that's a good move. That should be the best move, I imagine. Okay, so I mean, this definitely has white thinking. White definitely has things to think about here. Eventually, we can also have ideas of, you know, Queen H6, attacking here, maybe just forcing some weakness, maybe getting some counterplay at some stage. Also, let's say, I mean, if white would be careless enough to move one of her rooks, then this might just, you know, win some material eventually. So we definitely have tricks. We definitely have some chances with our bishop pair. Luke would love this. Luke would say, "Wow, look how good the bishop pair is. You don't even need your rooks." But okay, let's see what Diana can do with it. Okay, let's just look over some other games real quick, maybe. Narva, Mai against Danielian. They're still on move 19, 2 minutes versus 17 minutes. This is going to turn into a proper blitz game. I mean, okay, they have 30 seconds increment, but still. It's hard to play with 30 seconds increment if you are used to, or well, if you were used to having like an hour on your clock the whole time. I think objectively, if they were in the blitz mode, I think they would be much more able to play in that quicker mode. But I think it's hard to transition after you've taken so much time to now get into a mindset where you make moves quickly. Okay, so bishop d7, queen e2 in Diana's game. Queen to e2. And now we have to find another move. It's not so easy to find moves here. Because we need to be careful of knight moves for now and like discoveries. For now, I mean, all the good knight moves, you know, they're covered by this bishop. I think this bishop, I think it would maybe be hasty to actually move it. So I think it might look like, oh no, we need to move our bishop, but actually we really don't, because the knight can only move backwards. And, you know, it would also reopen that diagonal for us. So, I mean, we could play something like, we can't play queen a6, of course, because our bishop's hanging, but we can maybe play like queen f6, put some pressure on the diagonal, on the f pawn, even though, of course, for now it's really good, well protected, but in the future there might be something there. Also, I don't know what else we could do. Maybe we could realign our rook, just keep chasing the queen. We would be threatening some discoveries with check. That's Diana's favorite tactic, the, you know, sacrifice with check and win the queen. But okay, I think definitely things to do here. 20 minutes to go until I have to leave. Maybe actually I have to set up some things. So maybe I should go a little bit earlier than that. I have to set up my own laptop. Guys, let me know in chat if you want to if you want me to keep the stream going. Actually, does anybody know how I can make like a banner, like a text banner on OBS? Does anybody know that? It would be nice to, I would appreciate if someone could help me out with that, so I could actually put it on the screen that we are waiting for commentary to come back. Okay, rook e8 was played. Just keeping the queen on its toes. Just keeping her honest. Okay, queen has a lot of moves now. Maybe. Well, actually, does she have that many moves? Actually, she doesn't really have that many moves, if I'm going to be honest. Actually, not that many moves at all. I guess queen d3, queen c4, or queen f1 are actually the only moves. Queen f1 looks ridiculous. So one of these two, I guess queen c4 looks the most sensible. But first of all, I mean, we would have another, well, actually we don't. We would have another move to chase her around, maybe, but actually the knight can take, and we don't have any discoveries now. So that's actually not quite true. Wait, but this is actually not the position. Hold on a second. Because our queen is on... Oh no, our queen is on g7. Never mind. Never mind. I thought our queen was on f6 for a second, but it actually isn't. I can make a text and add it as an image in OBS. I do not have an over-the-board rating. My name is Kenneth. I do not have one. Well, thank you, Flake Webby. I can maybe do that. That's true. I can make a note thing. just put in Notepad or something. Or maybe Notepad is actually not the right place for that. Do it on Word then, I guess. Okay. Oh no, that was wrong. This doesn't really work. Okay, it doesn't really matter. I'll just see if people can't figure out that I'll be right back. Thank you for the follow, Seth 777777777. Our opponent played knight f3. Wait, what? Okay, no, she didn't. Hold on. There are a couple of moves. Rook e8, queen d3, bishop g4, knight f3. Okay. And now I guess we go bishop d6. And I mean, now we have achieved some sort of, you know, our bishops are doing stuff. Our bishops are doing stuff. I think we need to maybe, I'm not sure if white wants to, I don't think white necessarily wants to trade queens anymore now that our bishops are sort of coordinated. I think we achieved quite a bit here. I think we got our bishops to nicer squares. We still control the diagonal with the queen. We are pinning the knight for the moment. I think we definitely achieved some things here. I guess maybe white would play this, and then we would, you know, reroute in this sort of way. Or maybe we could go here. Definitely a step up from where we were earlier, I think. I think we, yeah, maybe achieved some things. But okay, I'll just quickly leave you for a couple seconds. I'll get set up for my lesson, and I'll be back for a second after that. Oh, actually, okay, never mind. I'm staying here for a second. She did not play bishop. she did not play bishop d6 because, I mean, of course not, because she's Diana. She played bishop takes b7. Okay. Well, I don't like that one bit, because we're just losing all our pawns, aren't we? Are we not losing all our pawns? Or are we losing a bishop? One of the two. So yeah, I don't know. That looks, yeah, queen b5 played, and that looks really bad now. Well, thank you, ZWX. Thank you. But I really have to go in a minute. Well, I don't know what she does here. Queen b5 and I mean, you're gonna have to just hung this, and I don't see how you can defend it. So yeah, I think Diana's probably gonna resign here. Just losing a piece, unfortunately. I mean, we have 3 pawns, but we're down a rook. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. That looks like it's going to be the end of Diana's tournament, unfortunately. Yeah, not a nice way to go. I think she was fighting back really well. I think here you go back. Oh, this is the wrong board. Oops, sorry. Making moves on the wrong board. I think if she plays calmly here, plays bishop d6. I mean, I was saying, I think we achieved some things here compared to the position we had earlier. And I think taking with the bishop was just, I mean, yeah, it ran into a tactic, a little fork. Yeah, not unfortunately something she saw, I guess. I mean, yeah, it happens. It happens. She's short, like, she's very low on time. She only has 3 minutes at this point. These things happen, unfortunately. And I mean, I guess maybe she can try playing on. Maybe she can try playing on. If she plays c6, and then after takes here, you still, oops, here you still have these pawns that you can make your opponent deal with, but unfortunately, yeah, Diana resigned. Yeah, that's man, that's an unfortunate end. That's a really unfortunate end to that tournament. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. I think she was fighting back well here in the last game. You say it was over, but I think she was playing really well. I think she was playing really well until this. I mean, let's just quickly put on the computer. Yeah, complete computer says like +1 point something, but it's not so bad. It's not that bad, really. There's still things to do here. I think she held on really well. I think she was in trouble early. Then she maybe I think the exchange sack wasn't entirely necessary, but it was a very complicated position, so it definitely made some sense what she did there. I think the exchange sack made some sense. Let's just see if it was correct for a second. I'll just quickly go over with a computer. So in this position, after knight a7, yeah, rook a8 would have been better. Rook a8 back, queen takes, and then actually computer wants queen d8 instead of. I thought this didn't work, but I must have overlooked something. But queen b5. Okay, then it says rook d6. Okay. And then, yeah, okay, here you take then with the rook, and it's not as nice. Okay, I mean, this is a bit chaotic for sure. Okay, I mean, can't blame anyone for not seeing this. If she saw rook d6, that might have been too scary. I personally didn't consider rook b6. Rook d6, I mean. I did not consider that one. Yeah, but okay. That might have been what put her off the line. But the computer says queen d8 is good, or I mean, okay, at least. And then bishop h6. I mean, okay, this is also very hard to find. I thought that just rook b8 was okay. I guess it is. So this would have been decent. You know, you can still untangle here, but I think practically, I don't mind it at all what you did. Like, computer says -3, but we all saw that it was kind of hard. It was kind of hard for Diana's opponent to figure out the right plans here, and Diana fought back nicely. I think here she could have thought about taking with the queen, but I guess she wanted to set up this battery against the pawn, which also makes a ton of sense. And then, yeah, she basically brought it back to 0.1, plus 0.1 for white, plus 1 for white, I mean, sorry. But then, unfortunately, just hung that tactic. Took the pawn on b2 at the wrong moment. Yeah, I mean, this is unfortunate for sure. This is definitely unfortunate. This is unlike Diana to resign in losing position. She must be tired. There's some other behind the curtains reason. Well, I mean, she's definitely tired, and the tournament didn't go so well for her. I think she's a little bit done with chess for the moment. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave you on the stream soon. Diana might come in. I'll just set up for my lesson, and maybe I'll shut down the stream, or maybe Diana will come and talk to you guys. So I'll just leave you for a bit, and might see you in a minute.
Hello, everyone. Is it on mute? Yeah, it's on mute. I just missed it. I saw it straight after I moved. I just wanted to... See, I wanted to play bishop here. I wanted to play bishop d6. And I just went for the pawn. I don't know why. I just missed that. Because let's see if there's anything else. I guess anything else is winning as well. Yeah. Yeah. And it's not that hard to see, just block this. I just got greedy. So the lesson is not to get greedy. This was over. She should have been more tired than Diana. I was so exhausted today. I actually just couldn't calculate much. Let me just... Thought I actually got a good... Yes, I lost. Oh, so hey, f6 is a mistake. Oh, I don't want any. I want water. What did I just wore this one I'm wearing now. I didn't know. I did not have a great tournament. But maybe next time I'll have a better tournament. I didn't have a good one this.
Yes, you will.
This. Yeah. This time round. Yeah, it's really close. It's just 2-minute walk away. Let me just see. Oh, knight e6. You know, I actually sat here for like 20 minutes or something. Because I was trying to see something that would work, and I just missed that this is a move. I didn't even realize that this is... You just put your hand out and stop the clock. I wasn't eligible for the juniors. The juniors stop at under 18s. I don't think I was eligible for the juniors. Okay, so I actually missed that, but after this, I thought this. Queen d6. Yeah, she not just take. No, she can't. Oh, Queen d6, I missed that one.
Recording in progress.
How is it different to a draw for it? Well, if you offer a draw, you just go like this.
Go somewhere, or?
Yeah, I'll just stop the stream.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, I need to go now, so I'm gonna raid Chess Dory. And we'll do analysis after the tournament, after I get back home. Thank you, my name is Ken. Thanks for coming in, and thank you, Waterford Wizard, for the kind words, and everyone else who came and supported. The tournament is now over, but 19. Oh, I think she's under 18. I'm not sure if she's under 18. I think she could be under 18. But I'm gonna raid Chess Dory. It wasn't a great tournament. There were some interesting games, but thank you, Daniel, for watching. I'm sorry I'm just ending so abruptly. I have a lesson right now. that I need to teach a group of kids, so I'm just gonna run over to them now. But I will see you guys later. And thanks again for everything. Thank you, Paul. And thank you, Constantine, as well, for coming in. I'll see you guys later, and let's go over to Chess Story.